I never thought I'd be the guy to find out my wife was cheating on me, especially not in the way I did. Her name's Jessica, and honestly, she was the kind of woman everyone seemed to think had it all together. Beautiful, confident, sharp-tongued. She knew how to throw a punch with her words and then look me straight in the eye like I was the one who was wrong. We'd been married for about 5 years, and yeah, we had our ups and downs, but I genuinely thought we were solid. Or at least I thought we were until that weekend. It started around a month ago. Jessica had been acting weird, little things at first. She'd be more irritable, snapping at me over nothing, canceling plans last minute, saying she was busy at her sister's place, or working late. She insisted she was just stressed, that her sister was having some family issues, and I bought it for a while. She'd go out, come back late, and I'd hear her on the phone sometimes, whispering, giggling in a way that didn't sit right with me, but I pushed aside my gut feeling. I mean, she's been my wife, how could she do something like that? Then came the weekend. I had planned a few days away for just me, some fishing trip I'd been looking forward to. Jessica insisted she was going to her sister, and I didn't doubt her, at least not at first. She packed her bags, kissed me goodbye with that fake smile, and promised she'd be back Sunday night. But I kept texting her, just to see how she was doing, and that's when I first noticed something strange. Her messages were more flirty, more casual with someone named Mike. A guy she claimed was just an old friend, but the tone was different, more intimate. I saw a few texts that went beyond friendly banter and I froze. The thing is, I didn't confront her right away. I wanted to see if she'd keep lying, if her story would hold up. But then I checked her phone again, looking for some reassurance, and that's when I found it. A series of messages, late at night, secretive emojis, plans to meet up. My stomach sank. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. The woman I loved, the woman I trusted, was doing something behind my back with my best friend David. I didn't even realize I was staring at her phone screen with my hands trembling until I saw the timestamp, Saturday night around 11:30 p.m. The messages were still coming through. I read them over and over, trying to make sense of it. How could she lie so easily? How could she betray me like that? I mean, Jessica's not a saint. She's bitchy, she's manipulative, and she's got a mouth on her that could cut glass. But I never thought she'd cheat with my best friend while she's out pretending to be at her sister. I felt everything at once: anger, heartbreak, confusion. I wanted to scream, to yell, to shake her awake and ask how she could do this to me, to us, but I didn't. I just sat there, staring at her messages, trying to process what I'd found. It was almost like I'd been waiting for some sign that she wasn't the person I thought she was. And now I had it. I had the proof. I couldn't sleep that night. My mind kept spinning, replaying everything I'd seen. I kept thinking about all the moments I missed, the signs I ignored. Jessica's attitude had been off for weeks, but I never wanted to believe she was capable of something like this. Deep down, I knew. I always knew there was a part of her that was bitchy, manipulative, and self-centered, but I never thought she'd actually go through with cheating. Not with my best friend, David. That hit different. David, been like a brother to me, and I trusted him, maybe even more than I trusted Jessica at this point. I kept going over the messages, trying to figure out what I missed, what I should have seen. The little things, her canceling plans, the late nights, those were all signs, but I wanted to believe she was just overworked, stressed, or whatever. Now I realized she'd been lying to my face all along, that she'd been sneaking around and betraying me with someone I'd trusted with my life. I was furious, but at the same time, I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. My whole world was crashing down around me. The next morning, I decided I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I was angry, hurt, and somehow, I was also numb. I couldn't trust anything she said anymore, so I confronted her. I knew she'd lie, so I played it cool, asked her about her weekend, about her plans. She told me she'd been at her sister's place, that everything was fine, but I didn't believe her for a second. I pulled out her phone, showed her the messages I'd found, and that's when her bitchy side really came out. Her face twisted into a sneer, and she looked at me like I was some kind of idiot. "You're crazy," she snapped. "You're jumping to conclusions. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding." That was her go-to: deny, deflect, lie. I asked her if she'd been cheating, and she rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, you're overthinking again. I'd never do something like that. You're paranoid like always." She tried to make me doubt myself like I was the one losing it, but I knew what I saw. I knew she was lying. She kept twisting the truth, saying she was just talking to an old friend, that nothing happened. But I saw the damn messages. I knew she was lying. That moment, I felt a mix of rage and sadness. I despised her for what she was doing, but part of me also felt betrayed because I'd trusted her blindly. She was so bitchy, so manipulative about everything, and yet I never thought she'd go this far. It was like she was deliberately trying to keep her lies spinning, not caring how much she was hurting me. I was angry at myself, too, for ignoring the signs, for giving her the benefit of the doubt every time she said she was at her sister. I'd always been the naive one, convincing myself that love was enough, that maybe if I just tried harder she wouldn't do this. But now I saw clearly she didn't love me. She loved the thrill, the secret, the power she had over me. And David, I didn't even want to think about him right now. I was too busy feeling the weight of her betrayal crushing me from all sides. That day was a blur. I kept replaying everything in my head, trying to find some way to make sense of it. I knew I had to make a decision, whether to fight for the marriage or walk away. But honestly, after seeing that proof, my mind was made up. I couldn't trust her anymore. Not after what she did, and not after lying so blatantly. I felt like I was losing my mind. How could someone I loved so much turn out to be this way? How could she be so selfish, so cold? It was like my whole life was crumbling, and I didn't even know how to pick up the pieces. After that confrontation, everything changed. I couldn't look at Jessica the same way, not without feeling this gnawing sense of betrayal deep in my gut. She kept insisting she was innocent, that I was overreacting, that I was crazy for jumping to conclusions. That bitchy attitude of hers really shined through in her excuses. She called me paranoid, said I was insecure, and that I was accusing her of something she hadn't done. But I knew better. I saw what I saw. I wasn't some jealous fool. I was just a man who caught his wife cheating on him with his best friend. The hardest part was how she strolled around like nothing was wrong. She'd still kiss me, still act like she loved me, but I could see the lies behind her eyes. I started noticing little things, how she'd avoid certain topics, delete texts in front of me, make sure her phone was always with her. It was like she was trying to cover her tracks, even after I'd caught her hand in the cookie jar. Honestly, that just made me angrier. How dare she pretend everything was normal? How dare she act like she hadn't just shattered my world? You want to know the real kicker? I found out that she'd been sleeping with David since at least a month before I found those messages. That wasn't some one-time thing. It was a full-blown affair. All those nights she said she was at her sister, she was really with him. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. My best friend, the guy I trusted to watch my back, the guy I'd gone to for advice more times than I could count, he'd been fucking my wife behind my back. That betrayal hit so hard, I felt like I was suffocating. I started playing every memory back, trying to piece it together. All the moments when Jessica was bitchy and manipulative, all the times she had that sharp edge in her voice, she was hiding something. Every smirk, every lie, every time she'd brush off my concerns was a sign of how deep she was into it. I felt so stupid for not seeing it sooner, but at the same time I knew I'd been blind because I loved her. Or at least I thought I did. What made it worse was how she handled the whole thing afterward. Instead of breaking down or feeling guilty, she got defensive, even angry. "You don't understand what you're accusing me of," she snapped. "You're jealous and insecure. I don't know why you're making this into a big deal." That bitchy attitude was in full force. She was throwing her weight around, trying to turn things around on me. She acted like I was the crazy one for even questioning her loyalty. But I wasn't crazy. I saw the damn proof. I knew the truth. That night I couldn't sleep again. All I could do was lie there, staring at the ceiling, trying to process what had just happened. The pain was like a dull ache at first, then it turned into a sharp, stabbing thing every time I thought about David and Jessica together. How could my best friend betray me like that? How could she lie so convincingly? I felt so many things: anger, sadness, a deep sense of loss. I realized I was really alone in this. Jessica's true face had revealed itself, and it wasn't pretty. It was manipulative, bitchy, selfish, and completely untrustworthy. I didn't know how I was going to move forward from this, but I knew one thing. I couldn't stay with someone who'd do this to me. The days that followed were the hardest of my life. I was stuck in this whirl of emotions, anger, betrayal, heartbreak, and honestly, I felt numb most of the time. Every time I saw Jessica, I could see that bitchy smirk, that edge in her eyes that told me she still thought she was in control. She kept trying to deny everything, even after I laid out the proof. She kept insisting that I was overreacting, that I was just insecure. But I was. I knew the truth. I had seen it with my own damn eyes. At some point, I started planning my next move. I couldn't just walk away without making her squirm a little. Not after what she did. I wanted her to feel the weight of her betrayal, the same way I was feeling it 10 times over. I couldn't trust her anymore, and I sure as hell couldn't trust David. That was a given. But I also knew I had to be smart. I didn't want her to spin her lies and manipulate her way out of it. I needed something concrete, something she couldn't deny or dismiss. I started secretly recording her calls, her conversations, even her sneaky texts when I could catch her doing it. I wanted to catch her in the act, not just rely on her words. I also reached out to a private investigator just to get some outside eyes on her. I needed proof that wasn't just my word against hers. The more I learned, the more I realized how deeply she'd been lying and manipulating me. That bitchiness I'd always seen in her, yeah, it was hiding a lot more than I thought. Meanwhile, Jessica's attitude only got worse. She'd lash out at me for the smallest things, calling me paranoid, accusing me of spying on her, saying I was crazy for not trusting her. That manipulative streak was on full display. She'd scream about how much she loved me, then turn around and insult me, call me insecure, or accuse me of not being enough. It was like she was trying to make me doubt myself, to make me feel guilty for even suspecting her. But I couldn't. I saw her for what she was, a bitchy, lying cheat who thought she could get away with it. One of the most shocking moments was when I found out she was planning to leave town with David. They'd made secret arrangements, tickets, hotel bookings, everything. She was planning to run away, probably to start over with him somewhere far away from me. That's when I decided I couldn't wait anymore. I had to confront her one last time, make her realize I wasn't going to be played anymore. I set up a meeting for us to talk, and I knew she'd be furious, but I didn't care. I wanted her to see how much I knew and how little she could lie her way out of it this time. When she showed up that evening, her face was defiant, her eyes cold. She was still trying to act like the victim, like I was the one who'd lost his mind. She threw her bitchy attitude at me, saying I was controlling and crazy, that she loved me but needed her space, that she was just trying to find herself. I just looked at her and said, "You're full of shit, Jessica. I know everything. The affair, the plans to run away, everything." Her face paled for a moment, then she snapped back, trying to deny it all. But I had the evidence, all of it, and I was finally done playing her game. That confrontation was like the final nail in the coffin for us. Jessica's bitchiness turned into pure rage. She screamed at me, calling me everything under the sun, possessive, paranoid, insecure. She even had the audacity to accuse me of stalking her, which was laughable considering I had everything on tape, every text, every planned getaway she had with David. But she was so good at spinning her lies and flipping the script, I almost wondered if she believed her own bullshit. Almost. I told her I wasn't going to sit around and watch her run off with my life and my best friend, that I was done being played. I told her she had a choice: come clean, admit to everything. And I might have considered trying to salvage what was left of us. But she just kept denying, her bitchy smirk back on her face, like she thought she was untouchable. It's incredible how manipulative some people can be, even when the truth is staring them right in the face. I decided I had to act fast. I contacted a lawyer and started preparing for a divorce. I knew it was the only way to truly protect myself from any more lies or manipulations. Jessica's attitude only got worse as the days went on. She was throwing tantrums, calling me names, trying to guilt-trip me into staying. She'd cry, scream, call me controlling, anything to make me doubt my own judgment, but I wasn't falling for it anymore. I'd seen her real face and I knew I had to cut her out of my life completely. The worst part was how she tried to shift the blame onto me. "You're the one who's insecure," she spat at one point. "You're the one who's paranoid. You're just jealous of me and David." That bitchy tone, that false innocence, it made me feel sick. I realized she'd been doing this for a long time, lying, manipulating, using her charm and bitchiness to keep control. And I let her think I was still vulnerable, still unsure. But now I was done. I had enough evidence, enough proof, and enough of her bullshit. In the end, I knew I had to walk away from my sanity. I wasn't going to keep chasing after a woman who clearly didn't care about me, who cheated and lied and then tried to turn everything around on me. I felt a strange sense of relief, honestly. It hurt like hell, but I also felt free, free from her bitchiness, her lies, her betrayal. I realized I'd been blind for a long time, but I wasn't anymore. I understood now how toxic she was, and I knew I'd be better off without her. That whole experience changed how I see trust, love, and loyalty. I learned not to ignore the warning signs, and I definitely learned not to trust blindly. If I could give any advice, it would be to listen to your gut. Because when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. I'll never forget what happened, but I also know I'll come out stronger. On the other side, because sometimes breaking free from a bitch like Jessica is exactly what you need to start healing. Now, looking back, I realize how much that whole ordeal has changed me. I used to think trust was the foundation of any relationship, but now I understand it's also about respect and honesty. Jessica's betrayal was a wake-up call, one I didn't see coming, but one I definitely needed. It's not just about the betrayal itself, but about how I let her manipulate me for so long, ignoring the signs because I wanted to believe in what we had. I've learned to be more cautious, more guarded. I don't rush into things anymore, and I definitely don't ignore my instincts. That bitchy side of her, her manipulative attitude, that's something I'll never forget, and I hope anyone reading this understands the importance of paying attention to the little signs. Because when someone is capable of lying and cheating so blatantly, you need to be willing to face the truth, no matter how hard it is. As for me, I'm finally starting to rebuild. I'm seeing a therapist, talking things out and taking each day as it comes. The sadness still lingers, but it's getting better. I'm learning how to trust again, not just others, but myself. Not everyone is like Jessica, and not everyone will betray you like she did. But the best way to protect yourself is to stay honest with yourself first. And if there's one thing I want to say to anyone reading this, it's this: never ignore the red flags. Don't let anyone, no matter how charming or bitchy, gaslight you into thinking you're overreacting. Your gut knows better. Trust it. Because in the end, the lessons I've learned are hard but necessary. Betrayal hurts, but surviving it makes you stronger. And even though I feel the scars, I know I'll come out of this better, wiser, and more careful about who I let into my life.